Hey there everybody, this is Lee with Creative Two-Time Mom, and this video is going to be an April Bookmarks video. So Bookmarks is an online book club that I host every month at creative2timemom.blogspot.com, and it's a link up where we talk about the books that we've read throughout the month and what our impression is, good or bad, maybe a little synopsis of the story. Every year I post a link of suggested books for the month, and this month was Bread and Wine by Shauna Nyquist. You can read the suggested book or not, and you can also talk about the books that you've read throughout the month. And when we do Veda, I like to do a video like this so you guys can see us on YouTube as well. So let's get started. So the first book I read this month was called When Mercy Reigns by Kim Vogel Sawyer. This was a new author to me. I know she's got other work out before, but I've never read one of her books. This book is a part of, I think it's going to be a trilogy. It's book 1. I know book 2 is out or coming out next month. This is the story of Suzanne Zimmerman. She moves away from home, becomes a nurse, and she comes back home for a limited time to take care of her ailing mother. But surprise, she comes back with her daughter. She's been gone that long. She has an 18-year-old daughter that nobody knew about. So it's about working out family relationships that are very strained already, plus bringing in a new life that nobody knows about. The characters were super relatable. You got drawn into their personalities very quickly, especially with such a huge cast of characters in this book. They were all very easy to distinguish and to really get into their lives. So I would highly recommend this one. I will link my full review down below so you can check it out. But this was definitely a good book and an author that I'm excited to read more of in the future. With the kids this month, we read Riders of the Pony Express. This, of course, is a Beautiful Feet History of California book. Super interesting. A little hard to track because it goes from the eastern end to the western end, the eastern end, where the riders are racing against each other to make it to the middle. If you were to read this book with your kids, if I were to go back and reread this book, I would like to do some kind of a map and map their route, because it is full of a lot of names and a lot of locations, and it can be hard to track when they go back and forth, but it is written in story. And it was a great book for making history come alive. I learned things about this time period that I never realized, and it really made me interested in our Pony Express unit and wanting to do more with it. The other book we read with the kids was Landmark Books, Meet Abraham Lincoln. Lydia's just finishing up Lincoln for Early American History, also by Beautiful Feet. This is such a quick read. There's 20 chapters, but the writing, of course, is really big, and the chapters are only like 3 or 4 pages long. We read this in 3 days. Very, very well written, very relatable for that 2nd, 3rd grade level. Probably a little too easy for my 4th grader to read. He could have stood something a little bit meatier, but yet this was a nice overview of Lincoln's life and his major accomplishments. As for our suggested reading for April, I don't have the book in front of me because I had to go back to the library last week. It was Bread and Wine by Shauna Nyquist. Not my favorite book. In fact, I didn't finish it. I was okay with it going back. It was a collection of essays about food and friendship and relationships, and all very good, but I'm finding... Just a second. So it was a collection of essays about food and friendship, and I'm just coming to realize they weren't as well put together as I had hoped. They were not as cohesive. They felt very disjointed. It really did feel like a bunch of essays just kind of thrown together. Maybe I wasn't understanding the point, and maybe that's what a collection of essays is. I don't know, but it wasn't really worth my time. Also included in the book is a variety of recipes for a variety of situations. I mean, she included all kinds of stuff, so I'm sure you'd find something to your taste. I would like to get it again to possibly try out some of that stuff. And every time there's a recipe, it follows an essay that maybe, you know, I brought such and such dish to my friend's house, and then that'll be the recipe at the end of the essay. I didn't get it. It wasn't one that, I think I read maybe half, and that was it. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know what books you're reading, or hop on over to Creative Two Time Mom and leave a link to your review of the books you read this month. Down below I'll leave a link for this month's blog post so you can link up, and I will also link my full review of that book by Vogel Sawyer. So I'll talk to you later, mamas.